What's going on, everyone? This is the Fraser LeVay podcast weekly segment with Uncle Blaiso. We had a little delay this week, normally do on Tuesdays, but apparently where I live shuts down the entire power network once or twice a year. And so
Is it
Tuesdays
the
would not work.
monkeys? Was it the monkeys again?
No monkeys this time. I think it's just I don't even know. You and Dad could not live here. You guys would lose your minds. I'm
They,
right. I'm right at the cusp. I can't imagine you guys.
yeah, that'd be nuts. They'd be the monkeys must be using the bridge that you got them. They're
Yeah,
not knocking the power out anymore. That's awesome.
they're all good. So, but yeah, today we're talking NFL playoffs, college football playoffs, who's in, who's out, overachieving teams, underachieving teams. Maybe get to players, some winners and losers of last week. Quick reminder: sponsored by
Yeah,
FanEverland.com. See the new website, FanEverland.com, and the new kids book, Learn with Lukai, on Amazon, under $10. Great Christmas present, and basketball's coming soon. But yeah, I want to ask you, Blaze. Did you have anything before we got to the Super Bowl picks?
and then we're gonna do college after that, right?
Yeah,
We want to go over some of the stuff from last week. There was some good college stuff too, but
yeah,
yeah, we'll
definitely.
get there. We'll get there.
All right. Well, gun to your head, who are the 5 teams you think can win the Super Bowl?
Uh, Philly, Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, I guess Detroit, although they are dropping like flies, man. And
Mm-hmm.
then if I gotta, I mean, we're throwing out five. I'm gonna throw out a bit of a not too much of a wild card, but you got to go with a wild card. And I'm gonna say the Packers.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. I like the way when they're healthy. Now that they're running the ball, um, I think Love's a player, and their defense is really good. And
Yeah.
yeah, in fact, I think they're going to give Detroit all they can handle this week on the Thursday night game. So yeah, they're gonna be my fifth. Um,
Who'd be your
you know,
sixth then? Because I feel like there's like a good. I wonder if you're going where I'm going with the sixth.
um,
Because I would
I
say
mean,
it's Steelers or Ravens.
yeah, I guess, but I just see those two. They're gonna play again. They're gonna beat the shit out of each other,
Yeah.
and I just don't see those two, either one of those two, beating Buffalo or Kansas City. I just
Yeah.
until we see it. Um, I mean, everyone keeps doubting Pittsburgh, and I don't know why we do because they keep winning.
Mm.
But I'm just not sold, when it comes to crunch time. And it's one of those things with Lamar until he does it in the playoffs, people are going to doubt it. Like, I think actually, if they play the Chiefs, I think that they will win, but
Mm.
I don't know if they can beat Buffalo. So it's going to
Yeah.
come down to matchups on that side of the ledger.
On the Steelers, because I was wondering, you brought that up. I felt like Russ knows he can do it. He's just a little old, but I mean, if he's
Yeah.
got time to kind of rest, knows exactly what he's doing, really gives a shit. Obviously, he does give a shit this year. I feel like he's someone I would trust, where he's like, he's not afraid,
Mm.
like other players are like, oh, it's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not good enough. Even if Russ isn't good enough, I'm
Yeah.
sure he has the confidence and like, I won a Super Bowl. I can fucking hang with him, where some other
Yeah.
guys might, get a little cowery.
I mean, the way he's playing now, he's playing fantastic football. So I don't I don't know why I don't still trust the Steelers. I think it's
Their defense, they're running the
yeah,
ball so well too.
I know. Their offensive line's good. They have everything you need. I just yeah.
I just don't trust Baltimore because I feel
Mm,
like you've always
yeah.
said about Lamar, just his passing is never great. I feel like it's
Mm,
like what I say about Tua, but a much better version. Like Tua can't play against 15 teams in the NFL, where I feel like Lamar is the best player in the world, except for maybe when he plays the top 4 to 5, and they really shrink the field on him and like makes his
yeah.
decision, has to have accurate passing, that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's and that's kind of my point on the matchups is I think that Mahomes is so far in his head, and I think he's so obsessed with beating him, and you could see the way he was playing in that opening week when they were,
Mm-hmm.
a toenail away from winning. I think like if he gets that matchup, I think you're going to see a superhuman
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, and I think they could beat the Chiefs. I just don't know that. I think there's two or three other teams in the AFC side that would give him troubles, right? I think
Yeah,
Pittsburgh
and
would. I
I
think
think
Buffalo would. I think the Chargers would,
mm,
even though
when
they
they're
just beat them. But
yeah.
I mean, if our boy Quentin Johnson could catch the football, 4 drops, 0 points in fantasy. I lost by less than a point. Thanks for that, Q. That was fantastic. Uh, and there were some key times too. That's a ball game. That wasn't the 2 touchdown game that the score showed at the end of the way. That was a ball game. So, um, and I think too with the teams that don't get to play him that much, once they get to see him again, I think it'll be a different story because he's so hard to defend if you've never gone up against him.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh they see him twice a year. They know what to expect. They don't get surprised by his speed. Where if you're a new team and you only play him every 3 or 4 years, you're going to get surprised by that. So I think the Chargers would give them all they could handle too in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I just think like their defense. I've said this before on the podcast, but just their defense is shit. Sure, the run defense is a little bit better. Passing, I think, has gotten slightly better, but I just would take the Steelers' defense 10 times over them. The kicking game obviously has gone terrible lately, so
Oof. Yeah,
I think even if you said Allen and Lamar were the same player, which you can argue either way, but Buffalo's defense is so much better, and also, same thing with the Chiefs' defense. So I just would trust them so much more.
Yeah, let's go to that kicking thing quickly because there's a whole lot of people out there that need to eat a bunch. Because I used to argue with people all the time. They were trying to tell me that Tucker is the greatest kicker of all time. Yada yada yada. I was like, guys, have you not seen what Adam Vinatieri did? And he did it for his whole career, like 20 years. He was still a stud at the end, and I think now is showing the difference. Where Tucker's appears to have lost it, and it's hard to just do it for that amount of time. And you look at all the huge kicks that Vinny made, I don't even think it's close. And I didn't think it was close when the argument happened. Tucker was unbelievable. He had that 5-6 year stretch where he was so money. I mean, he would split the uprights every time in half. But when you compare the level of kicks and everything,
that could almost be like before Brady sealed it with like another Super Bowl. It could almost be like a Brady Manning argument, right? Like Vinatieri actually did it in intense games where Tucker and Manning were just great stats, great regular season.
Yeah.
Which it's not Tucker's fault. He can't really make it to the Super Bowl himself. But
no. But Vinny had a lot of kicks that were just in the regular, earlier in the playoffs or at the time. And the guy just was clutch, and he was clutch for so long. And not just saying this as a Patriots fan, he was unbelievable with the Colts. And I don't. So I think I'm getting to do a little circle back with some people, and I remembered I was like, hey, this guy. I remember him telling me forever that Tucker was better than Vinatieri all time, and I told him that he was crazy. And so I've sent some reminders.
It has to be a friend that you argue with a lot because the fact you got down to kicking games. It was like, what can we talk about now?
yeah, for sure. I was like, oh, Tucker, he's the best ever. And of course, I'm like, well, hold on.
He's definitely can't be the best ever. Maybe like a great stats ever. But it's funny you brought up Vinatieri because I saw something the other day that Vinny had that one terrible year, but then he hit 5 straight in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So there's a chance Tucker could maybe hypothetically pull
for sure
one game back, but
for sure. But how often do you see kickers who appear to lose it a little bit and then bounce back? Like it's such a mental game for them. And
wasn't that old Colts kicker, right? He just absolutely lost his mind. He went from one of the greatest ever to just got in his head, right?
Vanderjagt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he started lipping off players, and Peyton Manning basically put him right in his place. And then we never heard from the guy again. He had a cup of coffee and a few other spots, but he couldn't get the broadside of a barn with a football anymore. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Once kickers lose it seems to go by pretty fast.
So that's kicker talk, I think.
Kicker talk.
Yeah. We're good.
Kicker corner.
Kicker corner. We're done with that for a few weeks again, hopefully.
We can never bring that up again.
Yeah.
But so Baltimore is outside. So then you've got, I love Green Bay. I've had them from the start. Their defense is just so good. I mean, and you said it earlier that Detroit, what do they have? Like 4 of their front 7 is on IR, and then like
it's
even
insane.
more, like 7 legit starters are on IR.
Yeah, and they just keep doing it. But man, like at some point, that's got to catch up with you, and it's tough. And the other thing too about Green Bay, and you had this right. I mean, you picked them for the rushing title, which isn't happening because there's a couple other guys that are just freaks.
Outrageous.
But Jacobs looks good now. Like he really looks good in that offense. And I was one in the offseason where I didn't understand the move. I was like, Aaron Jones was so good as a Packer. I didn't understand why you would get rid of him and bring in Jacobs. But, apparently they like to fit better. And that's why their GM is an NFL GM. And I'm talking to you.
Speaking, I'll bring back my GM thoughts later. I've got an idea. But we got the Packers, which, I guess we'll see tonight. So Thursday
Yeah,
night football will be a big one. But yeah, I guess it all depends if Detroit gets all their guys back, and it's crazy.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
so then you got Detroit first, kind of in the NFC, Kansas City, Buffalo, and then what was the third one?
Philly.
Philly. Oh yeah,
Philly,
Philly
who
at the
as much
NFC.
as I hate them, they're number one in my eyes right now. They're playing,
Really?
yeah, they're playing legit football, and they looked at their warts from last year and where they fell apart and improved on it. Like their secondary was so trash, and now they have two rookies that are
They
just
nailed the
studs.
draft. Yeah.
Nailed it, nailed it. And so now their D line is playing better, and those guys are freaks up front. So um, and then they went and got a running back. Like they filled all their holes, and as much as we say, or I've certainly said, I don't think that Hurts is like a Super Bowl winning quarterback. If you look at
Mm-hmm.
it now, he doesn't have to do much,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got Barkley. He needs to connect on a few big plays in the play action game, and he's going to run for 3 first downs a game, and that's probably going to be enough to win most football games. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't see, and they always fucking it blows me away. Why do they? I looked at the schedule. They play Carolina this week. Like, why do they
Yeah.
have an easy schedule all the time? I don't get it. I
Jeez,
know
schedule.
it's like nobody plans it. It's all part of a formula, but it seems like
Yeah.
every year all the teams that they play are horseshit. And
Well,
like,
it goes to your earlier point
yeah,
that you always say that they have the most overrated division in the league. So right away,
yeah,
there's
that's
six
junk.
games that are
Yeah,
junk.
that happens. But look at, I mean, Buffalo's division is weak this year, but then other
Yeah.
out of division games, they had to play the Ravens. They got the Lions coming up, and then you look
Hmm.
at the Lions. They got a tough division. They got to play the Bills. Like
Hmm.
Philly's got dog piss Jones left on their schedule,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't surprise me if they end up as the number one seed.
Yeah, definitely. And is their GM? I don't know his name. Is he like the best GM in football right now? Because I was just looking like
Mm,
nailed the draft, right?
Howie, yeah, he's got to be up there.
They got Jalen Carter last year, and
Yeah,
obviously he's one of the best linemen running right now in the second year. AJ, which that's a few years ago, but still a great
yeah,
signing. Barkley, one of the signings of the year, if not the signing of the year.
absolutely.
Um,
I think though the Jalen Carter one, rather than give him credit, I want to laugh at like the 5 GMs in front of him, because if you look at
yeah.
those picks, I mean, like the Raiders got the dude from Texas Tech. That's the pass rusher.
Mm,
That's no good. There was a
yeah.
guard that went in front of him. There was like 5 picks in a row where you look at all those teams who could have all used
Mm,
like stud D tackle, and they just let him fall there. I mean, he was clearly the second or third best player in the draft,
yeah. Well,
and
maybe we
all those
could
teams just let him fall.
maybe just bring up the other four and you leave out the Texas Tech next time we talk about that.
Well, I
Well,
just
here,
because
we'll
I saw
re-edit
you,
it and
it
go.
reminded
Cut.
me. It reminded me. Yeah, that's what reminded me of
Yeah.
it.
No, definitely. Yeah, because I feel like all his players have kind of the ones that are necessary. He's really hit on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs. So weird.
Well, yeah. The Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. I mean, who's
Hmm.
are they? They're going to be favored in every playoff game,
Hmm. Or
right?
not,
Every
and we
single
can
one.
bet it again.
Well,
That'll
yeah,
be
that'd
great.
be glorious. That'd be glorious.
Yeah.
Before we get off track, I actually,
Oh.
oh wait, I wanted to just look because I found pull up that draft, and so we can go. So Bryce Young, Stroud, Will Anderson, fine, and then the Colts take Richardson, the Seahawks take Witherspoon, who's good.
Hmm.
Cardinals take Paris Johnson, who's good, and the Raiders take Tyree Wilson. And then the Falcons, who, hey, have we thought that maybe they could use a little bit of defense, take Bijan
Maybe.
Robinson. And
Ooh.
then Jalen Carter goes. So, like, Howie gets credit for the pick, but let's talk about
Hmm.
those four. I mean, I guess the Seahawks got a guy they really like, but
Yeah.
there's 4 picks above them that are,
Not great.
and this isn't revisionist at all. Like I said it at the time, like those teams are going to regret passing on that guy.
Yeah.
And they certainly are. Certainly the Raiders are. I would hope. Maybe the Falcons aren't because they're not very well run, but they should.
Hmm.
And even the Colts, even though you beat my team last week, he's really not that good.
Yeah. Who could like where the Falcons picked the last 2 years? What defenders
Mm-hmm.
could they have? I mean, they could have take their pick. I guess they could have the best
Yeah,
corner in the draft this year, and they could have obviously Jalen Carter last year.
yeah, Bijan. And then who? Who was that pick last year? Oh yeah, they took Penix,
Yeah.
and they could have taken Fashanu, which they needed. They could have taken, yeah,
Anyone.
Byron Murphy, Jared Verse. Quinion
Ooh.
Mitchell, their defense can be legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're the Falcons.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm happy for it. So, the
You're
only
loving
thing
that.
I am loving it. So
Yeah.
it's later we can get to the losers, but Kirk Cousins,
Okay.
loser of the month of November and probably December. Although I don't want to gloat too much because now it's the Vikings Falcons game, and like watch somehow
Oh,
he
dude,
pulls something off, and it's just gonna make me lose my mind. But I'm sure it won't happen.
he's clearly hurt. Like he's throwing the ball. I saw a thing the other day. He's throwing the ball like 33 miles an hour.
Yeah,
You can
the
throw it that hard.
lowest. Yeah, that's like the lowest it's ever been thrown, or something like that, or the.
Yeah, like his picks were laughable. I was like,
Hmm.
Kirk, what's happening? So he's clearly hurt. So I wouldn't be too worried if I was the Vikings this week.
Did you say clearly hurt or clearly Kirk? Because I think he's clearly Kirk.
I think there's certainly a combination going on, but clearly hurt.
um, on the Chiefs, I was thinking about them because I'm torn on them now because it's gotten a little bit too odd. Like
Yeah,
before, I was all they're conserving energy, which I still believe, and like keeping everything in the garage. They're good play calls, just getting what they need to do to win the game, and try and stay healthy. Blah blah blah.
yeah,
But now they're getting to a point where they're like a young team that's really really talented. Obviously, they're not young, but like then they try and turn it on in the second half of a basketball game or the fourth quarter of an NFL game. And I think once you go to
yeah,
that well too often, one time is going to dry up. So it's like now they're starting to just fuck around too much. It's like, all right, we
yeah,
get it. You can do it, but this is going to come back and bite you in the ass. And you're like, oh, 2 minutes left. We got this, guys. And you just can't do it
yeah.
every time.
True. I think the one interesting thing about that, and obviously it goes all the way back to last Friday, whenever it was, but the Raiders did something that not a lot of teams will do against them because they think they need to score so much. They ran the ball and they ran it down their throats.
Hmm.
So I wonder, if some teams pick up on that because no one really ever tries to just dominate, just pound the run against them, right? They
Hmm.
just think, oh, hey, we're gonna have to score here and panic. Just to the sight of Mahomes, then they panic. Whereas like, well, the Raiders just ran it, you know, right down their throat and
With
look good
nobodies,
doing it.
too.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
Amir Abdullah and some rookie or some guy I've never heard of.
Hey! I actually picked up that guy in a fantasy league this week,
Oh, wow.
McKinsey or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it had to be done. The
16
guy's
team league, I assume.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I wish I could remember his name. Well, maybe I didn't. I thought I tried to pick him up, but
Huh.
there's Trey Sermon still on my roster, so I guess I didn't get him. Wicked.
um, did you want to get into some more NFL stuff, or do you want to go to college playoffs?
Yeah. What else in the NFL? Yeah,
I want to say
it's
I've
been
come full circle on
mhm.
Jayden Daniels. Obviously, I
Okay.
thought he was going to be a huge bust, and I think
Okay.
as long as he stays healthy, I'm
Yeah.
going to say he could be like the face of the league in 3 4 years. Just like Mahomes is Mahomes.
Oh.
People are kind of think he's froggy and they get annoyed by him.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, I don't know. He doesn't really smile. He isn't well groomed. Josh Allen, I think
Yeah.
like old school football people really like him. Obviously, he's like the white knight, but he's not much flash, right? His play
Yeah.
has flash, but he's pretty subdued, which is great. Love it. It's great. But
Yeah.
Jaden, he's like appeals to all these younger kids. Like every celebration he does, you wouldn't know this, but they're like TikTok dances that are viral. Like he
Oh,
is,
really?
yeah, he's just
Yeah.
everywhere in the media, like the young media. He's a great looking kid. He's giant. Like when you score, you see that giant smile. Like
Yeah.
handsome guy, hair's always well done, dressed nice. And I think Lamar, you never like because Lamar gets not never like, but when Lamar gets a little too arrogant ish, where he's just more having fun and
Yeah.
not getting like over his skis ish, which obviously could happen. But I
Yeah.
think he's checking all the boxes to be like a real good,
That's not a bad
likable
call.
guy.
I'm with Lamar. Like, I don't think he cares about the media or being liked.
Yeah,
He's just
which is
that's his
cool.
personality. He's not an asshole,
Mm,
but he's just
yeah,
not. He doesn't care if he does a good interview or not. But you're forgetting that the guy picked right after Jane Daniels is actually going to be better than him in 2 years. So
true.
uh,
But will he be the coach speak? This
it's
guy where he'll just kind of say the right thing. Oh yeah,
Drake May
thanks.
is more so going to be that.
Yeah,
He's less of the flash. He's the ultimate team guy. His players love
yeah.
him. He's like I think they're very very similar players. Obviously, athletically, Daniels. I mean, the way he moves is something else. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, you heard it here. Told you
Yeah.
this, and I'll keep telling you. Drake May will be better than him in 2 years.
I think and I
I
think
think he's
maybe I'm
better
more.
now, but he has
Yeah.
nobody around him.
When I'm thinking maybe more face of the league in terms of entertainment, like marketable. Like Drake May will be very
Yeah,
marketable too, but it's like just smiley, happy.
yeah.
He's doing all the fun stuff.
He's not doing a lot of TikToking.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
he's had the same girlfriend since like grade 8 or something.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely.
that's more his personality.
Yeah, definitely under that Josh Allen mold, which is still
Yeah.
very great and good. But you don't see Josh Allen in a billion commercials and that sort of thing.
No, no, that is true.
Yeah, which isn't a good thing or a bad thing, but just yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
my
a good
Jaden
call. I
Daniels
like that.
thought.
I like that thought by you. Way to come around.
Thanks,
This
thank
is a
you.
big for you. But
It
you
is.
actually don't usually admit even when you're wrong, especially
Oh my
about
god.
quarterbacks. So it's quite something to hear you actually admit this.
I don't know if you guys can hear this, but the phone's ringing. It's the pot, and wants to talk to the kettle real quick for a blaze. I've got it on the other line.
Easy.
um, and then we also nailed point shaven Jameis Winston. Oh
Oh
my
boy.
god, how do you
Oh
even do
boy.
that? What he did?
He finds a way. I guess the Lord wasn't listening
No.
because did you hear like that was the
Yeah.
ultimate? I pray the Lord delivers me from pick sixes. Like, hey, Jameis, you just threw two. Like, A,
Bad ones.
he ain't listening, or B, you asked too late. Like,
Yeah.
it's and I don't even think that if there is, I feel about the whole higher
Mm.
power gibberish, but even if that was the case, I don't think he's helping you, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's probably got other things to do than worry about like you're being
A football game.
colorblind.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Just
maybe
throwing the
that
ball to the wrong
the
team.
corner that was in his grill was just praise harder and is more a devout
Yeah,
Christian.
that could be too, right? Like, yeah, maybe he said I pray for pick sixes, and
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what it was. He
yeah,
prayed harder one
he
more
did.
time that I want pick sixes.
Yeah, see that the difference is he's way smarter because he asked before the game, whereas Jameis said after the game, "Golly, man, could I
Yeah.
please not have any more of those?" So
Well, and that's what they say. Pray when it rains. Don't pray when it rains if you don't pray when the sun shines. And he's just
oh
praying when it rains. So,
yeah, fair enough.
Jameis, you idiot.
Jameis, he's the best though, the ultimate roller coaster. I think, and I told you before about Terry having the worst pick ever.
Oh no.
The Cooper Rush
Yeah, what'd he
that just
do?
cost us a huge parlay. He picked Jameis Winston under yards.
Oh no.
Yes.
Is he the worst ever? What's wrong with him?
You know what's so funny is the week before the Cooper Rush pick, he'd been all over us. Like, hey, you guys need to pick it up. I'm like 10 for my last 10. So now,
Mhm.
of course, Bud calls him Mr. 10 and 0 because he has been like colder than the other side of the pillow since
Yeah.
that.
With the
But
worst
yeah,
picks too.
I'm like, dude, why in the world would you ever pick Jameis under unless it's like set at 520 yards? Because
Mhm.
Jameis doesn't go under. He will keep chucking it. He has no shame. He doesn't care how many pick sixes he throws. He doesn't care. Like, he is just sending it. He doesn't care, and he's not interested in your daddy's checkdowns either. Like, if there's
Yeah.
someone 30 yards downfield, that's where he's throwing it.
Yeah.
Him as an under was an all timer. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think the other one is still worse, just because, like, I mean,
But
this one is
it's
bad
almost
though.
it's almost equal because they're both things that have any sense about them. Because Jameis,
Yeah.
you can't know if he's going to be here or here. It's not
No.
like, oh, you know what, Jared Goff in cold weather, this could happen, blah blah blah, and you can make sense of it. How
Yeah.
you can bet one way Jameis or the other is like the dumbest bet on earth. Is like the most chance of all chances.
The only thing, the safest parlay if you're ever going to do for Jameis is if you can get good numbers on him throwing a pick.
Yeah,
And if not, then if you actually think he's going to throw two. That's the only bet you can ever make on him on a parlay. Like, it's
100%.
I don't see any other prop with him. So
Especially
anyway,
because over under is even odds, right? He could have gotten an interception at probably at least plus 150. You
no
know?
more. I think it was like plus
Yeah,
170.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh my god,
I know, but no, he went
Terry.
under, and so at least he didn't cost us this time because someone else got one wrong too. But like
Hmm.
the Cooper Rush one cost us a good chunk of money.
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah,
And then I sent you that other thing I saw online where Jameis threw 170 yards to the Broncos on
yeah,
Monday,
yeah.
and Deshaun Watson had only ever thrown over 170 yards once in the last
That's
2 years or whatever to his
yeah.
own team.
So of course, as soon as that stat came up, I sent a picture to the chat. Say, Terry, did when you picked the bet, it was the under to the Broncos players? Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He didn't find it as funny as
Like
I
it,
did. I thought it was
only
pretty clever, but he didn't
it
enjoy
is.
it.
I want to know. I wish we could find that stat. What's the most yards to another team ever? Because that has to be at least the
That's
most in
gotta
the
be
last 5 years
close.
or
Like
ever.
170 is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
that's almost like the Cowboys' last 3-4 weeks.
what's the percentage of games in the league this year where the quarterback has thrown under 170 yards?
Yeah, I would like to see that. How many
I bet
times?
you it's happened. I
Yeah.
bet you it's 12% of games.
Yeah, definitely.
He just did it
J-
to the other team. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's
That's
absolutely
how
incredible.
that's how good Jameis is. He can just throw however much he
Yeah,
wants to, whoever, it
yeah.
doesn't matter.
But let's pick the under. Good thinking, T.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's a quick Winston corner. Go to your Patriots. You may want to rant on that, but you did it again. It's a perfect win for the Patriots where you show
Yeah,
that your quarterback can do anything he wants. He looks
yeah.
amazing,
Looks
and then you
amazing.
lose the game at the end. So then
Yeah,
you keep that draft
preserve
pick.
the draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, so I wasn't totally mad, but I was like, really? We just let the Colts have a 19 play drive against us?
Yeah.
And once again, the buffoon on the sidelines, the first third down they have, so they're on their own side. It's like 3rd and 10, and the guy clearly doesn't catch the ball, but they call it a catch, and it bounces, and he doesn't challenge it. I'm screaming at the
Oh.
TV. I was like, challenge! Like, what are you waiting for? And they
Yeah.
just show him on the sideline, and he's just like, he reminds me of like, remember the one Homer Simpson episode when he's like has his days look on his face, and the song in his head is just like, na hey, and
Hey.
that's like the song is, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
Mayo is on the sidelines. He's just kind of just looking around, lost, and I'm like, challenge it, and of course, no, let it go. So now we're 4th and 2. They do a court, they run it, and they keep the ball. The drive could have been snuffed out literally after 3 plays, but no.
Why didn't
And then
replays just step in?
I
Why is
don't know.
this?
I don't know.
Hmm.
It sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then
Yeah.
when they get the touchdown, and so we only going to have 30 seconds left or a couple seconds, but we had timeouts. He wasted a timeout on their 2-point conversion because he wanted to get a snapshot of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up kicking a 68-yard attempt. If another timeout, you can run another play and get 5 more yards, and then
Yeah.
that field goal maybe has a chance. But no, we wasted it so we could get a snapshot of what they're doing. Hey, homeboy, I know what they're doing. The quarterback's running it.
Yeah.
Once
It's gonna
again,
be
from my couch, I saw that fucking happening.
yeah. It's gonna be a running back QB option. Like one of them is
Yes.
running it. That's all you need to know. He's not
Yes.
throwing it in tight
He's
space. I
not
can tell you
throwing
that.
it in that play. No chance. They
No.
could have used a golf ball because
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. A quick since we always have our loser of the week, Jets corner. We'll circle around on them because they have two
Yeah.
interesting parts for them being losers. One, I think you sent it along where they are the only team to lose to two quarterbacks they drafted since like the
Yes.
80s.
Yes. Fantastic.
And then the
Fantastic.
other one, they also had Leonard Williams, who was on their team,
Yeah.
a few years ago, run the fastest I've ever seen a lineman run in my entire life.
He was moving.
He was absolutely
He
on.
was moving.
So the
We
Jets
had a
got
buddy,
yeah.
that he was chirping. He's like, look at the Jets. They gave up. Like, none of the skill players were even in the picture when he scored. I'm like, dude, the guy was moving.
Yeah, he was so fast.
He was. That was impressive. He's
I was like, is this a
300 pounds.
linebacker? And my screen's just odd, making him look big? No.
Yeah. No, it was one of the more impressive things I've seen actually when he was running like that. It's like, fuck, imagine getting in his way.
Yeah.
Like if you did try and tackle him, you weren't. So
No.
this is not happening.
And so yeah, the Jets lost to Geno, who they had, and then Leonard just also sunk him as well with his long ass run.
Yeah. And the other quarterback they lost to that they drafted, you got to know this one.
Yeah, Sammy D.
Sammy D.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see if because Sammy was in the first and Geno was in the second. If it's the first time it's ever happened where like you used high draft picks. I think Geno was 39th or something like that. So in the top 39, the only team that ever used it.
It's got to be.
Absolutely.
I love it. Jets are gonna jet. Always.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to call out this because everyone knows about it, but Matt Eberflus, we just need to pound it just one more time. Just the worst quote. It was because he heard your coach's quote as the worst quote of the year, and he was like, "No, I've got one better.
No, I got one. I can do this.
I think we handled it the right way." As the worst quote of the year is so far.
And you talk about the play at the end.
Yeah, he said, "I think we handled it the right way." As he had the worst 35 seconds ever in a game we've ever seen. Yeah. And that's what had to be what got him fired. Like
that quote. Like that was the very moment I think the owner finally said, okay, That's
Yeah.
enough. I
It-
can't. I can't with
yeah.
this guy.
It'd be like if someone cheated on you, and if they apologize, maybe it's the first time I won't do it again. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what, I do it again. All right, you're out of here. I'm sorry.
Actually, you know what? I handled it the right way because it was
Yeah,
enjoyable, and
yeah,
I
exactly.
showered before I came home, so
Yeah,
no threat to you.
yeah,
But
exactly.
that was a dumb comparison, by the way. We're probably glad that the chainsaw's in here for
Yeah,
that one. Wow.
so good.
Don't be posting that one anywhere.
Yeah, we might have to. That's a good
Well,
cut out.
you gotta listen to the whole show to get that little nugget.
Yeah, no doubt. What else do you have for winners and losers? Anything?
I just looking at it, and your first one makes me want to vomit. Like
I
the
mean, if you want to get
cops,
into it, we can get into it. But it's just
like
I did it mostly for you.
yes, that is absolute nonsense. First of all, they're not rent cops. There was actually like police officers and sheriffs there.
We'll tell everyone what we're talking about first. So,
Okay,
OSU Michigan game.
yeah.
At the end, there's a skirmish that happens all the time. It happened, I think, like 20 times last weekend, which is insane.
Well, not that big though. That was a big one.
That was a big. Before I even debate or argue this, where are you on like planting flags? I'm like torn.
Enough, enough.
Yeah.
And especially, by the way, this is what drives me crazy.
Hmm.
There was a turf field.
Yeah. I mean, it's symbolic planting the flag.
I don't give a shit. Like, if you don't do that, it is do nothing. If you're gonna plant your flag, I want to see it in the ground and fucking sticking there. Like these stupid kids, like it's not sticking. Okay,
Yeah.
so stop pretending you're planting the flag and being the hero.
Yeah.
So first of all, that's nonsense.
I would have thought you
But
would have
yeah,
taken it that side because Baker said like we've done it all the time. Texas OU, we would exchange every year.
yeah.
That's just the game. So he was kind of like the more old school. You're going almost cancel it, which you never
Oh
do.
no, I'm saying like, yeah, you won, great, but if you're gonna plant your flag in the middle of our logo, no, we
Mm.
need to fight. And
Yeah, so you're fine with doing it, but you're also I think
no,
you can still fight
I'm
about it,
thinking if
right?
you do that, you're gonna get punched in the mouth. Yeah,
Yeah, totally fine with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I'm saying, I guess I should have asked, do you want it kicked out of the game or just leave it and let the people fight?
I don't want it kicked out. I don't want it to be a rule. I want them to grow up and realize that it accomplishes nothing. You just won the game. Go and celebrate with your teammates. Like,
Hmm.
who gives a shit about a flag?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you got fans there. You got everything going on. It's your biggest rival. Enjoy the game. Don't do something stupid like that. And
Yeah.
chances are, when you look at it too, you look at those players. There's probably a bunch of dudes that sat on the sideline and did sweet fuck all during the game anyway. So, like, I don't
Yeah,
want to see it. I don't want to see
yeah,
that. I
definitely
don't. I don't,
your
I don't
stud
see it.
5-star who's going to the NFL this year isn't doing it,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
No, no, he doesn't care. He's doing an interview or he's lining up, with ladies
Yeah.
after the game. He's doing something productive.
I'm glad they got rid of because you'd always see like people had like turnover chains or turnover anvils and stuff. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
enough of that. Like, I'm
those are
glad
fun for a while though. I
for
mean,
a bit. Yeah.
and that's on your own sideline. I don't care what you do over there.
Hmm.
Right? It's not like if you start wearing the turnover chain and go running by their bench, then yeah, you get smacked. But like whatever, do it on the sidelines. They're kids. But
Yeah.
the so like what you and people of your ilk, like the snowflakes, are upset about the pepper spray. What you don't understand, you must not have seen the video where there's people down. Like there was a trainer and also an officer down, and they couldn't
Everyone
like
was stopping
injured.
though.
No,
Everyone was
they
all
weren't.
holding back. They had
That's
all
why they
stopped.
pushed
There's
them back.
no
No,
arms
no,
were back. Like big dudes were there. Like no,
they
like
were
it's
trying, but
finally
it wasn't working. Wasn't working.
calming down, and then some overeager pepper
No, not
sprayers.
over here. What you need to understand is for
Oh, here we
those
go.
guys is when they see somebody down, they have to make a perimeter, and it's their
Mhm.
job. They don't give a shit if some 19-year-old punk wants to fight or if Fraser and the snowflakes at home are going to get upset. They need to
Snowflakes.
do whatever they can to clear and make a perimeter around the injured person who's down and can't get up.
It's
So
the opposite. It's not
suck on
snowflakes.
some
It's
pepper spray.
like relax, people push and shove. It's the opposite of
No,
snowflakes. Snowflakes are let the
no, they were
kids push
given
and
their
shove.
time to do that. They were given
Why
their
are
time
you
to do
even
that.
there anyways? Get out of the way. Nowhere
No,
else
that's their
had
job.
cops getting in the
That's their
way.
job. They're paid to be there.
Yeah, but there's 20 different fights that happened last week, and not if people are always like in the
Yeah,
Tennessee or
you're right.
what game was it? The Jaguars game. They
Yeah,
get a little fight. Cops stay out of the way. Coaches will handle it. Players will handle it,
yeah.
and it
That
ends.
one's at the end of the game in the middle of the field where the cops are already there. and it was out of control. It was not like the other ones, and there's somebody down. I agree with you. Like they don't need to get along that, but when someone's down like that, they need to make sure that they're safe, not worry about the other people. And if you're not listening, then I guess you get to suck on some pepper spray. I thought it was fantastic.
I guess that woman, she wasn't listening. The sideline reporter, she sucked some pepper spray.
Did she get some too?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, get the hell out of there then.
I also thought, sorry, switching gears real quick, is it time for Michael Penix Jr.? I didn't want to forget. Would you start him if they do bad this week?
Yeah, no, I'd start him right now.
Yeah,
because I said there's something like Kirk, like he's throwing muffins. And for whatever, I know you haven't always been a big fan, but the guy's thrown for 40,000 yards in the NFL. He's got
he can throw a nice zip, yeah,
and he's got nothing right now. He's throwing abs like the first pick six he threw to the sideline. That is an absolute duck. Like
yeah,
there's guys that are throwing better than that in our touch football league. Like it was a muffin. So
yeah.
I think you got to do it now, and they won't because it's playing his old team. But if they get dog walked,
yeah. He's gone. You would pull him, yeah. Fair enough. You got nothing to lose, right?
I just think there's something wrong with him, and
yeah.
I think he's not as bad as you think. He's not a top 10 guy, but he's better than what he's shown the last 4 weeks. And last week tells me he was really, really bad. And we keep forgetting he's coming off Achilles.
Yeah.
Look at Aaron Rodgers. Like
they're both
the same injury. Like it's not good. So
yeah. And he doesn't look exactly like athletic freak recover from my injury person either.
No, not at all.
Like if Anthony Richardson did it, I'm like, okay, you can come back in 10 months. Yeah. I totally get it. Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, it might be a little bit longer. So I don't know. I think I would try, but I like Penix in the UW. I like UW, and he was awesome last year. I want to see what he's got.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, Cousins, you kind of get what we've had for 12 years or whatever. It'd be cool to have an influx of a new quarterback.
Yeah.
We've seen Bo Nix. We've seen Jayden Daniels. Speaking of, actually, all three of them, I think, before, I think you were kind of like the same where, maybe not this year, but quarterbacks and being 25, 24, 26 and drafting them, I never liked it. But now, again, me eating crow with the Jayden Daniels, and I wasn't as harsh on Bo Nix, but I didn't like him for the similar idea. Now, do you want an older quarterback because of that rookie contract? And they kind of are obviously much 2 years smarter than someone else who's younger.
Yeah, it certainly can't hurt. I think it helps, and if you have a good situation, right? Like it's working out great in Denver, right? They got a couple of good weapons. Their defense is really good, or it was until Winnie got a hold of them. But it's a good situation, so you can put them out there right away. Whereas they weren't comfortable putting May out there right away. Some people might say that even Caleb shouldn't have started as early as he did, but these older guys they're ready to just jump in. So you're not waiting 2 years on that first round draft pick. You're getting something out of them right away. I think that's huge.
And then where I'm torn is I just never like I said from the beginning with Jayden, like, okay, great, he had one good year. He was also 24, 23, whatever he was, playing against 19-year-olds. So I wasn't that impressed. I'm like, cool. Like, I don't think you're that good. So it's like a weird, I don't know if I mean double-edged sword, but it's hard for me to rank a guy who's 2 years older than Drake May and JJ McCarthy and had one good year. So, but they're playing well.
They're looking like they're going to the playoffs, man. So,
yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week. Broncos in. I think it kind of stays the same on the AFC, right?
Yeah, I can't see much changing. Because everyone else is 2 games back of them, right? Cincinnati's blown it now. The only team that can really get close is Miami, and it's December, so I'm not going to count on them winning 4 games.
And playing some good teams, exactly.
Yeah, so they're toast. So I think that's pretty much curtains there.
I know you love Joe Burrow, but Josh Allen does huge things with nobody and wins games. Mahomes, to some extent, it's just so weird to me that he's almost got a 500 record, even though he put up 45 points in like 4 straight weeks.
But the numbers are ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He scored I think it's 8 times over 30 this year, and they're 2 and 6. 4 times over 40, and they haven't won 1 and 3. Like it truly is a case where he's doing his part, I mean, and the other thing too is, and I know you like to bring up the 500 record, but
Mm.
the guy's been to a Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when he had a defense playing well and an O line that wasn't a sieve, they went to a Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl. So and we're right in that game. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just I think their defense is that bad. Like
Yeah.
you know,
I guess so. I mean,
he's still
also,
real. I'd have him as a top 5 quarterback personally.
like, where's his contract for? Like, how much? Like, is it something where he's getting paid a ton, so his defense can't have much?
Yeah,
Where.
I think guys have signed after him now, so I would say he's probably sixth or seventh
Mm-hmm.
paid. Like I think he's in the 40s, late
Yeah.
high 40s maybe, whereas you got guys now in the 50s. But I could don't quote me on that, but
Yeah.
I feel like his big contract came 2 years ago instead of this past
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd much rather at least have him on a high contract than who has Tua. I mean, Goff's
Yeah,
playing great in the system, but Goff's being paid a ton.
yeah,
Jordan Love, I guess, fair enough. He's one of the highest paid.
yeah. Turning out that way.
Yeah. So it looks like for the NFC side, we didn't want the Commanders in there, but it's going to be hard to unseat them because they're 8-5.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, it'll be either the Bucks or Falcons. And then it would just be up to the NFC West having either one of them to make a run. But I think they're all going to kind of cannibalize each other because they play each other
yeah,
twice.
yeah. They're good. And I mean, I thought San Fran was the team, but it's not looking like it. They're too far back. So
Yeah.
I think it could be division or nothing there too.
Yeah, I think they're definitely division or nothing, which it's weird because I was thinking they're not the worst division, but
Yeah,
they're all consistently good, but they're all consistently in the top 15 of teams, but I think it's like
yeah,
12, 13, 14, 15.
yeah. Right. No, that's totally true. They're not a top 10 team for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Without them,
But it lined up good for the game that we're going to next week.
Oh, who's that again?
Seahawks Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. I hope Seattle keeps playing well,
Hmm.
and I hope it's not raining.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 wishes.
2 wishes. Quick shout out to Bryce Young before we get to college. What do you do if you're the Panthers? He's kind of putting them in an awkward situation that he's playing okay.
I don't think he's putting them in an awkward situation at all. I think he's putting them in a great situation.
Yeah, I guess.
I think he's showing you that he settled down. He learned from having to sit and watch, and he's playing well.
Yeah.
And I think you have to roll it back with him. So now you can use they're going to have a fairly high pick, and you can bolster your defense and see what happens.
Yeah.
They picked up Leggett last year, so they got a good rookie in the draft. You got to think they'll keep Thielen. He's ageless apparently.
Yeah.
And they bulked up their line last year, so I think he's put them in a great spot. Actually, I think
2 stud running backs.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of Carolina, I forgot to mention this when we talked about the Ravens. But another reason I don't like the Ravens, so that 2 of their 6 highest paid players are Deontay Johnson, obviously with Carolina, and then Marcus Williams. Both don't play. So they're paying 2 of their highest 6 paid players are not playing.
And now Deontay is not even eligible to play next week. Like they just benched him. That's awesome. That was a dumb trade. I didn't understand that trade even when it happened. I'm like, why?
No. They had wide receivers.
He's not better than what you have.
Yeah.
Especially to give up a pick for it. Like
a high pick too, wasn't it 4th round or something?
I think so. Like if you get him off the waiver wire or something, sure.
Or a 7th or a 6th, yeah.
Yeah, can't do that.
Yeah. Have you figured out the fumbling forwards rule? Because I still don't understand.
No.
It happened in one of the games where it fumbled for like a first down kind of. I'm like, wait, what? I don't understand this.
It's
I'm
so
sure
confusing.
we could look it up, but I just don't. Complaining about it's funnier because it's so stupid.
It is. It's dumb. It's dumb.
But
I love you have a Matlock show here. I haven't taken the time to watch it, but I saw that Matlock's a woman now.
Matlock is a woman because now we're in the world where we have to recreate everything for every gender and non-binary and because I was thinking the only people that watched Matlock were like 7-year-old old men in like the 90s and 80s, which we know 95% of them were misogynistic, to be fair.
Totally.
So now we're going to recreate this old show that only old people watched, and we're going to make it with a woman that I'm just like, it makes 0 sense.
Yeah,
And then
I hope it bombs because we
yeah.
need more of this stuff to bomb so that it just shows
Mhm.
these networks and executives like, okay, enough. We don't have
Yeah.
to like we could have just let Matlock be alone and just
Yeah.
Matlock was a great show in the '80s. The end.
Exactly.
The end.
Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. We
Yes.
don't have to make it with all women. Like,
No.
want to
Yeah.
know Marvel? Want to know who loves Marvel? Young boys. Comic books. Young boys. We don't have to
Yes.
force young women to love
Yeah.
comic books. If they want to
I
like it,
know.
great. But they're only 10% of the population or 5% of the readership of comic books. So,
Yeah. I know. It's
but
craziness. It's Star Wars too. It's like
Star Wars.
okay, right? Yeah. They got
Hmm.
everything in there. It used to be the celebrations you'd see after they blew up the Death Star or whatever. Or one thing now, the most recent one, they've got the mixed couple, and then they've got the lesbian couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. They make sure they get every little group in there celebrating and having their hug and their kiss. It's like, oh, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just where's Chewie? Please just show me Chewie.
I
It's
can't wait.
like
Chewie's gonna come out with braids and like some sort of
no,
vagina
never,
thing.
never. They would never do that to me. I will go to Disney myself and raise
There's gonna
hell.
be a pink Chewie, and he's
That
gonna
can't
be
happen.
gay,
Oh
which
God, that's like my nightmare.
which is nothing wrong with that, but it's just just making everything.
Yeah, there is actually. Chewie is not gay. Okay,
Yeah.
like Chewie is fine just the way he is. You don't need to make him gay. You don't need to make him more straight. You don't need to do anything. Just leave Chewie the way he is. Like it doesn't. We don't need it. We don't need to make him politically correct. We don't need any of this bullshit. Leave Chewie the way he is. He gets his little thing, and he's got his crossbow, and he can fly the hell out of anything. Just leave him alone.
Yeah. The gays have R2D2, so that's fine. Or
Yeah,
C3PO.
for sure.
So,
They can have other. I don't care. Have as many characters as you want. You can have an entire fleet of gay people. Doesn't matter to me. Leave Chewie out of this.
that's definitely going to be like the whole next series that they spin off is something just a whole
Yeah.
new gay planet. But not there's anything wrong with that, but just
No, but like just
yeah,
like don't change. Like, I'm saying don't change Chewie to anything. Don't change his color. Don't change anything. Just
yeah.
let him just be a badass
He's already
forever.
brown, tan, wherever he's from, a different planet,
Yeah, exactly. Just leave him alone.
or her.
No, no, that's already been made clear. We're not changing that.
And also I was looking like, do you watch late night shows? Who watches late
No,
night shows anymore? Does anyone? How are
zero.
those still alive?
I have no idea. I like some people must love them. Late night is usually when I go to bed.
Yeah,
So, or I'm watching something on PVR or on like
exactly,
Netflix or something that I actually want to watch.
exactly.
Speaking of, how has it taken me this long to get into
Oh,
Mayor of Kingstown? Oh
oh yeah, so good,
boy,
right?
this yeah, I just got through I think it was end of season 1 or 2 when they like just like the prison is just chaos when the inmates all take over and SWAT
Yeah,
goes in. Oh my God, just absolute carnage everywhere.
and they do it right. They've got good-looking dudes, good-looking women,
Yeah,
and just it's just all the casting's perfect, everything.
yeah, it's a good show. I like
Yeah,
that
it
show.
really is.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna
And
happen. I don't know where it's going right now. It's kind of weird, but I think I'm at the end of the season. I think I got one more in season 2. So
And
yeah,
even jumps off right at the start too. I mean, they kill off like what you think is the main character is like dead
yeah,
instantly. So it's like,
yeah. Like they tried to pull the Ned Stark.
mhm. Well, and then Ozark because I'm rewatching it. Jess has never seen it.
Yeah,
Like same thing. First episode, we got through it. I think because we fell asleep because in the newborn we got through it the second time.
yeah.
I was like, Jesus, this is just episode 1. Like a billion things happen.
I know it was good.
Great show.
I never got past season 1 of that one. I don't know why. I
Oh,
got distracted.
it's good. It seems
But it
like
was
it went
good. I
on
enjoyed it. I
one.
really enjoyed it.
Maybe went on one season too long, but like it was still really good. But
Yeah,
it was one of those like, all right, I want to know how it ends. Let's finish it up, and then okay, one more season.
yeah.
All
That's
right,
where we're at with Yellowstone right now. It's like, okay, I'm
yeah,
only fucking watching this debacle to see how it ends. Like
yeah. This one was
enough.
just the last episode, was just kind of like I don't know how if I liked it. It was interesting. There's only 2 left. There's
Yeah,
2 episodes left.
good. Okay, let's get it done. Why? But why did Colby need to die? Come on. Like what purpose did that serve?
You know why? And this is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Well, there was only one black guy in the show. You had to kill him. Like
Yeah,
what?
those
What?
racist. Maybe they're just doing what I was just going on about. It's like they're going just like we're
They
not falling for
are.
this stuff. Yeah,
I was thinking about that because they keep on like
yeah,
really plug in like the America stuff and like they've done the other like don't make fun of men as men like they're making fun of California, essentially. And
Yeah.
like, and then they kill off the black guy. This is exactly what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. How come it wasn't one of the white cowboys that went in there to get kicked by that badass horse?
Exactly. I couldn't believe it. Literally, I'm scrolling through. There's not one other black guy in the entire show. Not like he
No,
walks in the background or at one of the rodeos.
no, just Kobe, and he gone.
Yeah. Oh. And it was kind of
That's
like a
tough.
weak killing too. Like Kobe was like
Yeah,
standing, like his hands are in the air, like, "Oh, please don't kick me! Like, just go and get
yeah.
out." They
But
could have
I don't
killed
know.
him.
Maybe it was the angle, but they showed the kid in the corner. It's like just fucking run out. Like
Yeah, they could have done much better.
it's not. It wasn't like he was underneath the horse when he went in there to save him. Like
No.
get out of there.
And then the
Stupid.
horse was facing him, and then
Mm,
had to turn around and kick him with his hind legs. Like he had plenty of time. I don't.
yeah,
This is the worst kill off in the entire episode.
by far.
Mm.
The whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need for it.
He already got stomped on purpose by two horses. Remember when him and Teeter got stomped on?
Oh yeah,
That didn't kill him. So now there's one does with one kick. Come on.
yeah, yeah. It was silly,
Yeah.
silly. Yeah. And now, like, we couldn't understand Teeter to begin with. Now she's going to be crying all the time and a blubbering mess. They really won't be able to understand her.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, two more
Pointless.
episodes.
Let's go. Let's get through these two, and then let's be done with it. I want to see
Yeah.
Rip just fuck up a few people and a couple more good lines from Beth here and there because she's been soft lately. And
Yeah.
like,
I think
let's
they
get back
need
to our roots.
Jamie. I think they need to do a full pot twist where Jamie kills Beth, because I think
Oh,
it's too simple right now. Right? It's just like,
yeah.
all right, we know they're going to find out Jamie did it, and he's gonna die. And not even like
Yeah.
I hated much more people, like the white dude in the very first season. I don't really hate Jamie. I just feel bad for him. So if you kill him, I'm just like, poor Jamie. Not like
Yeah.
oh, thank God they got that fucker. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel bad for him. So I'm not gonna have a lot of closure, I guess.
I
So
as soon as it's over, I'll be happy it's over.
yeah. So, all right. Well, let's knock out college football as we talk TV corner. The playoff.
Yes.
Who do you think? Well, actually, let me ask you this: who are the 5 teams that can win it? I'm looking
That
through as
can
well.
win it?
They can win it. Yeah. I give me
Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State.
Bama.
No.
You don't like Bama? You also
No.
Notre Dame head.
Yeah.
You don't believe that, do you?
That Notre
So-
Dame's going to win?
Yeah.
I
You can't
mean, I
with your
sure
heart
hope
of
so, but
hearts. So maybe there's 4 teams that can win it for sure.
Yeah,
Georgia, Texas,
that's
Ohio
why I
State,
was kind of
Oregon.
hesitant. Yeah.
Well, what about Tennessee? But I guess Tennessee or Ohio State look like they're
Tennessee's-
playing each other.
Yeah, so that's a tough one. So the winner of that game, and this is going to change. I don't think this is the final 12 teams either.
No.
So there's only going to be one change though, right? Like because they're all locked in. Tennessee, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, Oregon, Texas. They're all locked in. I think
Yes,
the only question is now, does Alabama get bumped?
I think ASU could get bumped too, right? ASU with a loss.
Well, yeah, but they're the Big 10 or Big 12 champs, so that they would just be
Yeah.
replaced by Iowa State.
What about Penn State?
They
Like
can't get bumped.
who are they playing who's in the Oregon, Penn State?
So they can't get bumped. They'll still be in the top 12.
What if they get just like throttled? I guess only if they get beat by
Yeah.
30.
They'd have to get beat by I think 60. They only have one loss on the year, and it's to Ohio State. It was a close game.
And what about SMU?
So this is where I think this is the last bit of intrigue is that SMU, I think they play Clemson in the title game. If Clemson wins, I think Bama's out
I gotcha.
and SMU stays, and that's how I think it should be.
Mhm.
But if obviously if SMU wins, they're staying right where they are at 3, and then things are pretty straightforward. But I'm hoping I want to see Clemson win that, and then they get the conference championship. SMU stays alive. Bama hits the road. I think that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Just to see the outrage in SEC land. I want it so bad.
But the SMU's had such, I think, a pretty terrible, easy schedule. You don't think if they got beat kind of handily, they could kind of just disappear and you hop in a Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina?
I mean, I guess if they got beat by 50, but I think they'd be setting a bad precedent to bump a team for losing their conference title game.
Mhm.
right? Like they've made it to their conference title game, and the committee's on record saying that's important. So
Yeah.
I think if you bump them, then if that's the case, what if Georgia loses to Texas? You bump them,
Yeah. Well, I think
right?
SEC obviously has, and I hate the SEC, but they at least have pedigree of trustworthiness where
Yeah,
SMU and Arizona State don't really breed confidence into picking them.
yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, they've their first year in the conference, and
Mm.
they've beat up on the teams they played against, and they have a
Mm.
couple wins over some ranked teams. So
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, if you if you they would be just setting a terrible precedence to say that if you're ranked that high and you lose your title game that you're bumped. So I don't see it, but
Yeah.
I guess that could also be wishful
Yeah, it would also be, to your point, it'd be brutal for the Big 12, the Big 10, and ACC because now it's like recruiting wise, don't go to those conferences. Just come here because we'll get 4 teams in no matter what. Doesn't matter if
thinking.
you're a good Big 12 team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be a bad precedent to set too because it just there's already too many good teams in the SEC. I mean, it'd be nice to spread the wealth
Totally.
around a
That's
little
why
bit.
I think everyone's better off if Clemson wins a close
Hmm.
game and they both get in.
Yeah, and then let's say it stays here right now. So you've got Ohio State, Tennessee. Take Ohio State to advance.
Oof,
Then they
I don't know.
no. Yeah, I
That's a
guess it'd
tough
be a
game.
tough one.
Tennessee's good, man. Tennessee's
Yeah.
really good. I think the other interesting part for me, obviously being a Notre Dame guy, is hoping that that Oregon puts a bit of a beating on Penn State, to the point where they drop to 6 or 7. And
Yeah.
because I want that 5 spot. That 5 spot is you're playing the 12 seed, and then if you win, you're playing the lowest conference champion. So, like the
Yeah.
5 spot, I've been saying this all along, is where you want to be. So I'm eyeing up how can Notre Dame get there, so that they need Penn State to take a bit of a dump.
Yeah, because Penn State's got the easiest path to the semis, right? They play
Yeah,
ASU and then Boise State, which I mean, sure they're goodish teams, but it's not
yeah,
Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oregon.
yeah. So unless they lose an absolute nail biter, I think Notre Dame jumps,
Yeah.
which be a-okay by me.
Do you think they'll do anything to make sure the SEC doesn't play each other? So, like for instance, if we're looking right now, Georgia's 7 and Texas
Mhm.
is 2. When the final standings come out, will they be like, you know what, we don't want a Georgia Texas this early? Let's wink wink move them to
Yeah.
6th, 5th, or whatever that is.
So they say they're not. They say they're not looking at matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm with you. I call bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think for round 2, but I think round 1, I think they should. It should be a rule. Like, why would we
Oh yeah.
want like 2 teams from the same conference playing in the first round? I
Mm-hmm.
hate that idea. Like, let's get rid of that. So
Yeah. Well, I think I would like to see it just from a standpoint. Even you said at the jump, and I agree that Georgia and Texas are one of 4 teams we think can win. I
yeah,
don't want to see them playing in the second round. At worst case, the semis or the finals, not the quarterfinals.
yeah. So
So,
more so, my biggest pet peeve, and baseball did this too. Why can we not reseed this?
ooh, yeah.
Right? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
The only time you don't reseed is if you're playing at like a local ball tournament or a soccer tournament, whatever. You have the teams there, and it's easier just to set out the bracket so that you know
Yeah.
you just move on to your next game. In this
Mm-hmm.
case, they got a whole week or two between games. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need to know that Texas is hosting one of those 2 teams. We need to know that Texas is hosting a game,
Yeah.
and that they're hosting the 11th seed, or
Yeah.
the second lowest seed, right? The first is just like the NFL does. Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's not reseeded. I think it's lazy. But
Yeah. I agree.
it
It
could be
probably
a
should be
gambling
received.
thing too, right? Like, it could be for pools and stuff. It makes more sense to do it this way. Um, so I guess that factors in. But
And it wouldn't impact where games are played because either way,
yeah, it's all those are all bowl games starting in the quarterfinals.
and they do it with the NFL already. So you couldn't be like, oh, well, Notre Dame people want to buy their tickets to play at Texas.
Yeah,
Like, blah, blah, blah. Huh. All right.
yeah,
So
I
really,
don't
the
like
only
it.
game that matters is the SMU game this weekend. Is what
Well,
we're
and the rest
thinking.
is seeding, right? Like, I mean, and it'd be interesting because then you see how bad these teams want that bye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to think hosting that game, if you're Oregon or Texas or Boise, like hosting that game is millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Not that they need it, but you're not going to turn down millions of dollars in a home game. Or sorry, no, those ones don't get home games. But like, so Georgia, what if they say, okay, well, we can host a game next week, beat the living wheels off of Indiana, and make what $8 million,
Yeah.
or we can beat Texas and get the bye. Like, how much do you care about that?
Yeah. And then also actually looking at the schedule, I think if UNLV beats Boise, they would jump
Mm-hmm.
them, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would win the conference, and
Yeah.
Boise's in as the conference winner. So yeah, and same thing. There's all the games mean something. All the title games mean something, which is great.
Yeah, as it should be. I feel like before it hasn't really meant
Yeah,
much, just bowl games and whatever else.
yeah. Go
Can
Clemson.
Miami, can they get back in at all or no?
I think they might be um the maybe. I doubt it though. Like, because how can they jump Alabama when they're behind them right now? Neither one of them play, so I think they're
Yeah.
cooked.
Yeah.
So I think the
Who
only new teams can be the outside teams in the conference title game, right? Iowa State, if they beat Arizona State, or if UNLV beats Boise, or if Clemson beats SMU. I think those are the only three different teams that you can see in that bracket.
Well, I think if Clemson beats SMU, I just don't know if SMU stays because they're 8th ranked right now.
Yeah.
Clemson 17th. That'll be interesting. Huh.
And if they lose by 50, no. But if not, they
Yeah.
got to stay. They got to stay. They're in their title game.
Yeah, but then UNLV would take Boise's spot, and Boise would just be out.
So yeah,
So no extra spaces open. And same thing if ASU loses to Iowa State, they take their spot.
Yeah.
So really, the Alabama place can't really be moved unless it's an SMU Clemson close game.
Yeah, if Clemson wins. Yeah, if Clemson wins a close game, then I think Alabama's the team that gets bumped.
So that's really the only way Bama can be bumped, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Go Clemson.
I have my Alabama 15-1 bet. Go Alabama.
Oh yeah, fair.
But yeah, all right. That's all I had. Did you want to go? What time is it? I got PT. Did you want to go over some quick weekend games at all, or you got to rush out?
I got a couple minutes. Do you want to do that?
Can fly through some games, see if any games matter. The biggest game of the week has to be the Lion. The line has already moved a half a point today. It was 3.5 for the Lions.
Yeah.
Now it's 3 points. Packers. Because I was going to say, if I was in the U.S. and I could bet, which I can't here, I would have made a bet Packers plus 3.5 easily because I think that's a 3-point game.
Yeah, I think that's the right call.
And could win it, with my also in that game, my guillotine. I'm living and dying on this game, so we'll see very quickly if me and you in the final 5. I could be out, or I could be flying high.
I got to decide too. Do I play Jordan Love or do I play Mahomes? So I obviously got to decide. I got Mahomes in right now, even though he's playing the Chargers. Love's been good, but he's been kind of 1 or 2 touchdowns. He's thrown a couple picks. They're running the ball. Lions D line being out means they might just run it a ton. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I got a little time to decide. But
so thankfully Vegas knows what they're doing more than we do, and it's the highest. It's the highest. Crossing my fingers, I don't get screwed by Vegas, which never happens, of course. It's the highest line by far of the week. So
okay,
if it's 51.5. If it's a shootout game, I'll be happy.
I'll be very happy. Damn, that leads me to think I should maybe be playing Love.
Yeah. I don't want you to be mad at me and you change it. I'll just let Vegas tell you that. Every other game's 45.5, 40, 43. There's only one other game over 45.
Really? Which one?
Yeah, which is Cowboys Bengals. A beautiful game.
Oh boy.
Yeah. But so
my dilemma is too that the Chargers have the number 1 scoring defense. So
yeah. Yeah, no, I would not want to play against the Chargers.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know what to do in those games. Like right now I've got Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts for fantasy people out there.
Yeah.
Josh Allen plays Carolina, which gives up the most points. Their top 2 to a quarterback.
Hurts plays Carolina.
Yeah, Hurts plays Carolina. Allen plays San Francisco. No, they just played San Francisco. They play the Rams.
Yeah.
Which is like middle of the pack. But it's like, do you play a quarterback who's playing a shit team and then maybe they take out their foot off the gas, or do you want, play Josh Allen's playing the Rams and maybe a close game, maybe a shootout, so you kind of want him to keep on having to throw the ball. So it's kind of a
That's always the fear, right? It's always the fear.
Yeah. We don't have the answer for you out there, but if you have a
No,
question, guys, that's the question.
certainly don't. Certainly do not.
The Vikings revenge games versus Kirk Cousins leaving us in hell for 5 years. Vikings 5.5-point favorites.
Oh, wow.
I like it.
Oh, wow.
Rundy's good.
Yeah, I think so. I like that pick.
Yeah. Somehow the Vikings will screw us. But
right. Saints Giants. Who's watching that game?
Ooh.
Nobody.
Literally nobody. And the Saints are 4-point favorites. I guess you just take the Saints because Drew Lock is starting again. No Danny DeVito.
Well, so is Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr, Drew Lock combo.
Yeah, Giants just lost their best player. Not that they have any other good ones, but their best guy is gone. So who knows?
And yeah, that's Jaguars Titans 3.5 points. I always like the Titans defense, but it's not as good actually on paper as what I think it is.
I know it was weird. I was along those lines last week. I had I needed the Titans to slow somebody down. Oh, it was the commies. It was like an 8-point spread or something. I was like, their defense will keep it close. And then they got beat like they stole something. That was bad.
For some reason, I always had them. It was good.
Oh my God, Levis. He is such a circus act.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think he does the dumb shit on purpose. Like he knows he's going to be out of the league in 2 years, so he's just trying to set himself up to be like a social media guy or something.
Yeah, it has to be. And Will Levis play of the week, it has to be Jameis Winston's pick sixes, since we got to throw in the quick Will Levis plays of the week.
Yeah.
Bucks Raiders. Oh, it's been a couple bad games in a row. Bucks 6.5-point favorites. I love the Bucks. I need them. I did plus 350 to win the division a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm riding the Bucks hard.
That's a big spread, isn't it?
Yeah, 6.5 points. Raiders are trash.
Yeah, they are, but they seem to every time you think they're going to get murdered, they keep it close.
Yeah, very true. I'm still not believing in it.
No. I think that going back to the Titans one, I mean, it's Jaguars have Mac Jones. Mac Jones is not good.
Mac Jones doesn't even look like a quarterback. Like in a helmet and his pads, he just looks like a little nerd.
Yeah, they're like, is this like the e-bug goalie in hockey? They're like, they describe like the dude from the local flag league that was here just in case all three quarterbacks get hurt.
Like, I don't know if it's where he wears his pads or he's got a weird helmet. I look at him, I'm like, that doesn't look. He looks like he's in the 80s or something. He should have like the arms that are like the Aaron Rodgers non-tight arms. He'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Little flappers. Browns Steelers. I think just from I guess you always got to bet the Browns spread because that you just never know what could happen. So you might as well get the points.
Yeah, and I just think 6.5 points is what I'm looking at. What do you have?
Yeah, 6.5.
In the AFC North, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, maybe it could be snowing. Who knows what kind of crazy.
Yeah, well, there was snow last time, and that game exploded.
Yep. And the Browns won. Little Steelers hopeful revenge game, but Winnie doesn't. Winnie prayed for no pick sixes, so I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll work out.
Down. Browns lose by 7. Pick six to seal it.
On a pick six. Yeah.
That's what we need to do. We need to bet Browns first half and then second half lose it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, another stinky one. Eagles Panthers. Eagles 13 points.
Yeah, that'll be a drubbing. That's the thing with the Eagles. They're not going to slip up against people. They're built to just wear teams out. So that's a
Saquon is going to save Gilly again. He's going to squeak by. Saquon's going to run for 400 yards in this game. Jets Dolphins, a battle of the stinkaholics. Dolphins 5.5 points.
Huge. That could be 15.5, and I think I'd take them.
Yeah.
Don't they usually drum the Jets?
I assume, at least at home, you would think.
Yeah.
Have we talked since Tua played in the cold?
No. We haven't talked about it. It's Thursday.
So who's the worst person in the cold that hates the cold the most,
Probably you.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I hate the cold. I can still, and I mean, I'm Canadian, so I guess it's different. I don't buy this excuse of can't play in the cold. Like, your adrenaline gets going. You get excited. You like once you
Yeah.
start moving around, you're not cold anymore. I don't care how warm weather you are. Like I live in Costa Rica. I live in Scottsdale. I can hike in 120 degrees, 50 degrees. Cold, I'm miserable in.
Yeah.
But I can play hockey or like tackle football in the snow. It's fun. It's once a year. It'd suck if you're
Totally.
practicing in it every day. But I just don't buy this. Oh, it's cold. We can't play. No, you just can't play against good teams, which I've
Yeah.
got. Sorry, let's run through these stats. All right, Tua, quick clip. Turn the
Yes.
TikTok camera on, Blaiso. Tua playing in the cold is nonsense. As I just said, I hate the cold. I can pull it together in any sport, and it's not the cold. Tua just sucks. He's 1-16, 1-16 in his last 17 games against teams with a winning record. The
Oh,
one team
wow.
he beat is a great Dallas Cowboys near like middle end of
Oh,
last year.
yeah.
So that's September of
That's a season.
2022.
That's a
Yeah.
whole season.
September of 2022, he has won one game since September of 2022. Two full seasons almost
Yeah.
against a winning record. In those games, they have 114 points for, 243 points against. And I say this to Mike all the time, our Dolphins friend. It's just their little gimmicky scheme. You say it about the dork
Yeah.
coach.
McFakey.
Yeah, the scheme works when there's space. Like it makes sense. You've got space. Tua can throw when someone's 10 yards wide open, but they have the
Yeah.
worst red zone and like goal line offense because once they have no space and Tua can't find someone 10 yards, 5 yards wide open,
Yeah.
the offense goes nowhere. Like they just shut it down in close spaces. It's finished.
Yeah, because all those in cuts that he's used to throwing, there's a safety sitting in and waiting for, standing there,
Mhm.
start of the play.
Yeah.
Say, go ahead, throw that 12-yard dig. I'm here.
Yeah.
Literally, this is where I'm lining up. But it's harder to do when you have Waddle and Tariq on the outside. You can't just creep. They can't creep in. Well, now the sideline's there, or the goal line. So
Yeah. It's just it has no. And Mike's like, oh, our coach is like, well, no, he's always been the same coach. He's good in space and good against shit teams, but good
Yeah.
teams easily figure it out because you haven't beat a team in 18 games against anyone who's good. And also on the Dolphins, how are they the worst scenario? They've got Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jayden Waddle are all top 5 paid at their positions. That's kind of bad. And Tyreek's, I think, is 31 or he turns 31 next year.
Yeah, and
So they've
appears
got
to be slowing down a little. So
yeah, and they've got another season or two of guaranteed money for him. Waddle's
Good.
guaranteed for 2-3 years.
Good.
Tua's
God,
guaranteed
yeah.
for 2-3 years.
I love it when I need them to start sucking again so that you can beat them. I owe Benny 2 lunches this year, so it's tough. Yeah, standing lunch bet every game, and
I'm sure that's like fine because he probably owed you about 70 lunches over the last 15 years.
Did okay. Did okay.
Yeah. You've got all the Subway stickers from those wins. You're like, all right, here's your sandwich, Vince.
Exactly.
Oh, no bacon, buddy, no bacon.
Yeah.
It's only what you get on the card.
Funny, he'd be like, hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Let's go and cash in that lunch bet. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. 99-cent tacos somewhere.
Oh, for
I
sure.
shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I still owe him some lunch, so now I'm gonna have to take him somewhere good.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh, let's go to the L for dinner on a Friday night.
Yeah. Damn it.
All right. Well, I think. I had a quick newborn
Chiefs Chargers.
segment.
Who you got on that one? Who you got? Chiefs Chargers.
Let's look at games.
What are your thoughts
I'm gonna go the Chargers just because the Chiefs.
A lot of points
for sure. Yeah, the Chiefs are covering. I think it's a 3-point game. No.
Yeah.
And maybe even the Chargers might win because I've got a 4-point spread Chiefs on this one, but the Chargers, Harbaugh always likes to kill off like the teams that are the top dogs. So I feel like he'll have the boys ready for this.
He will.
Yeah. It was close last time, wasn't it? Wasn't
they haven't played yet this year, I don't think. Or no, they did, yeah.
Yeah, it was a stupid game, and Herbert was hurt.
Yeah.
And I think just at the end, something stupid happened to make it a bigger spread than it was.
Yeah.
And then shitty Bengals Cowboys to end it off, which no one's watching that game. Ooh, Monday night, just brutal.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one.
All right, well, we can end it with a newborn story. I just got to find it. I had it in my notes because it happened so long ago.
I like it. Please tell me it ends up with you covered in shit.
Most of the time, that's pretty much all that happens. I can't even find my notes.
Sounds amazing.
I guess I'll have to do it next one. All
All
right,
right,
sounds
hey,
good. Well,
final chance.
yes.
Do I play Jordan Love tonight or do I play Mahomes Sunday night?
Don't put this on me. If it was my team, I would say Jordan Love. But
All right. And
um,
I know that we're in the same guillotine league and you're trying
ooh,
to fuck me, so I'm
and
going
I
the
love
other way.
Mahomes. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I'm going the other way.
Oh, and I found
Set
it.
you right up for that.
I found the new board. It's a quick
Yeah.
one. Fucking everyone, Blaze says, those newborn years, those first couple months, cherish them. You'll never get them back. I miss those days so much. They're amazing. I feel like one, it's a lie. Two, it's it's also like an ex girlfriend or boyfriend was like, oh, like you
Yeah.
remember all like the good things, like, oh, that was really fun. It's almost like you're a gladiator, and then you
Yeah.
like die and you go to gladiator heaven, and the guy's like, what about that crowd? Do you remember how good that crowd was? And another guy's
Yeah.
like, when are you ever going to be that close to lions again? Huh? Like never. It
Yeah.
was such a good time. Don't
It
you
was awesome.
remember?
This is awesome.
What a
Yeah.
great time.
Remember
Oh,
you
well,
escaped that line for 4 seconds?
yeah. What a rush. Oh,
Yeah.
you should have cherished that time that you had. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's like, no, it is the worst. Stop. There's a 1 second of happiness, and
Yeah.
then you're just covered in shit, being screamed at.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
so
know. I not having kids, I can't totally relate, but what I've seen, like when I watch, it seems like it's way more cool when they start moving around and you get them see like doing cool shit. Like it
exactly.
used to always be like, oh hey, we got to go over to the wife's like, oh we got to go over to so and so's house to see the baby. I'm like, see the baby? What is fucking lying there shitting himself? Like,
Yeah, and just cries
what am I
and
looking at?
exactly.
Oh, it's so sweet. Yeah.
Just
Okay. Oh look, it
movie.
just moved its hand. Like I think it's way cooler when it's actually out and starts buzzing around and
Talking. Yeah,
yeah. I think
I agree.
those are the times I think you're going to want to cherish. Like this is, I mean, it's
Mhm.
basically just
Yeah,
it's
so
just
there's
basically just a waste system at this point. Just
exactly.
food in, diaper change, food in, diaper. Like I don't know.
You're basically
What do
like
I know?
the city. Like you do their sewage, you provide food.
Yes.
you're,
Yeah.
you're you're basically just utilities for the baby for
Yeah. Seems to me the stuff that you're going to remember is once they start buzzing around, that seems way
yeah.
cooler. This is
Yeah.
just I don't know.
But I'll make sure I tell the same lie. Oh, you're gonna love it. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
No, you won't. You won't. You hold on to this.
Uh,
Be the like the truth. Be the person that's kind of like, look, just survive those first 4 months until they start doing something.
exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like you can't. I'm sure there were good times, and there are. Sorry, but it's like you don't
Yeah.
remember them because you're just struggling to survive. Just like my gladiator thing. It's like
Yeah.
I'm sure the gladiator could look back and like, okay, that kind of was cool, but at
That
the
was
time
sweet.
you're like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking running for my life from that little guy in the sled
Yeah.
with the spears and the
Yeah.
lion
Yeah. This is no
and
good.
the crowd throwing daggers at you and
Mm.
a guy going like this, and it's the baby with his thumb up or his thumb down,
Yeah.
controlling your happiness for the day.
Instead of the thumb up or thumb down, that's the baby who's just staring at you, and you know that there's all the like the look on their face changes, and they're just absolutely
Yeah.
unleashing in their diaper again. That's the thumbs down that you're getting. They're not even moving their hands; they're just eyeballing you as they're just unloading. It's
That is
fantastic.
the best time actually this time is I have 1,000 videos on my phone of the many
Yeah,
faces of babies pooping. It is
yeah.
incredible. I mean, he has like smiles and,
Oh yes,
and just there's 1,000 faces babies
so
make. So
good.
that's
Kind
the
of makes
only
me want
enjoy.
to turn my phone on, like turn the camera on when I go. I wonder
Yeah, you
if we
should.
if we've gotten past that yet, if we're still like just an absolute
Yeah.
relief. I'm not going to do that. I don't think
Yeah,
that's a good
you
idea at
could.
all.
We'll record it. We'll put it on TikTok.
I don't think that's happening. No.
All right. Well, that was the Fraser LeMay podcast. One on that. Uncle Blaiso, faneverland.com. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Peace.